Okay, well, welcome to the new and improved Nighttime with Tess Devine. This is Tess Devine, and I'm here. I originally had a guest, but my guest unfortunately could not make it. So today's episode is going to be Meet the Producers. So I've got Andrew and I've got Jake from Work in Progress. For anyone who's a fan of Work in Progress, I've been on their podcast for many episodes, far more episodes than I've had on my own podcast. So I finally broke down and realized that they have really good equipment, and it can probably assist me in producing my podcast. So I said, hey, do you guys want to be producers? And I think Jake responded in like 2 minutes when I sent him the message on Facebook. So
I don't do anything.
yeah. So this is the Meet the Producers. Some things have changed. The format has changed a little bit. We're limiting the episodes down to 30 minutes, and on a usual episode will be 30 minutes long, and it will only feature one guest, and musical showcases are going to be replaced with musical shout-outs because it's easier and I don't have to ask for permission. So, so guys, how you doing?
I'm good.
I'm solid.
I like because I actually had Jake on with my last episode before I took him on as a producer.
Yeah.
So
this is I've got a streak going now.
You got a streak going. Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Andrew, I'm feeling good about this.
Yeah.
I feel like we made a good decision.
It's solid.
Our names are on this now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We have joined her in her journey.
Yes.
I feel almost like a legitimate podcaster.
Hey.
I know, right?
Yeah.
For the first time in my life.
We do things. We're actually networking.
Yeah.
That's true. So I figured the best way to really get to know Jake and Andrew is, what other way to do it is to actually play a good game of Would You Rather.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got the website queued up and everything.
There.
You got a website for it.
It's the hit website yourather.com.
Ooh.
A lot of people probably know
Okay.
about it, but
Rather. Okay.
it's one of the internet's most
It's literally like free.
time wasty websites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you can just sit here and click this fucking button all day and see.
Yeah.
There's like a million.
You see like the percentage of people that chose which option. And,
Yeah.
Do you ever get really frustrated with some of the people who chose one?
Sometimes I'm like, what are you thinking? Why are you the way that you
When
are
I played
in
it,
the world?
sometimes you'll answer something that's like an obvious answer, like that one, obviously.
Yeah.
And it'll be like a neck and neck tie. And we're like, why?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like who chose the other option?
Yeah, exactly.
Half of you are insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So without further ado, let's
do this.
Let's do this.
All right.
for me.
Well, the first one I've got keyed up is: would you rather spend a day with Taylor Swift or spend a day with Beyonce?
Oh, and I want to add too. Each person, of course, the three of us. One of us will go around. We'll say, whichever one we want, and then we'll explain why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
You're
be
gonna
like
have to
super.
give me a second then. Someone else go first. Because I know my answer. I don't know why.
Okay. All right. I say Beyonce because she's more interesting. She's more colorful as a character. Her husband's Jay-Z.
Yeah.
There's that.
Brownie points.
Yeah. Yes.
That would be half the
Major
reason
brownie
I
points.
would opt for that reason, is just to be like, can I get an in with Jay-Z?
Yeah.
And accordingly, can I get an in with Justin Timberlake?
There you go.
Ooh, smart.
Because
That's
I probably wouldn't pick Beyonce, honestly. I actually enjoy Taylor Swift's music a little more.
Really?
And the trivia that I tell literally everyone I've ever talked to when the subject of Taylor Swift comes up is I have the exact same birthday as she does.
Same day, same year.
That's right.
I've got a built-in icebreaker if I ever do it.
That's
To be
true.
like, hey,
You and I were born on the exact same day.
born on the same day.
Hey, I can just see it now. It's like, I'm your newest song. Come on. I mean,
I don't know about you. I'm feeling 24.
all right. So,
I would choose Beyonce not to get an in with Jay-Z, but instead to parlay that into an in with Kanye so that I could then
Yes.
get a picture with Kanye and his baby.
If I could forego
Northwest.
both
Yeah.
of these to spend a day with Kanye instead, I would do it in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. He must be just the most fascinating person.
oh my gosh, yes.
I would ask him his creative process just to hear him talk. Just be like, go. Turn him on.
All right. Well, since 2 out of the 3 of us went with Beyonce, I'll click that button. 51% went with Taylor Swift, 49% for Beyonce. This is
Okay.
a neck and neck one.
Okay,
But apparently, Nighttime with Tess Devine is in the minority on this one.
Yeah,
Woo,
I mean,
okay.
that's fair.
If
Okay.
only barely.
Only
Let's
barely.
see.
I've got one since you're.
Okay, yeah, go for it. If you've got your own.
Okay, I've got
Let's go.
my own. Would you rather be John Travolta from the 2014 Oscars or Leonardo DiCaprio from the 2014 Oscars?
I'd rather be Leo.
You'd rather be Leo.
Because everyone feels sorry for him, like, the entire, like... basically, until he wins an Oscar, he's, like, the world's most pitiable actor right now.
Yeah.
It's like, that guy's so good. Why hasn't he won an Oscar? And I just be like, I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Travolta, everyone's, like, kind of, like, what's
Tired
wrong
of
with
him.
you, dude?
Well,
like...
the thing I like is the whole
How did you
butchering.
flub that so
I
badly?
know. Well, I love it. You know, Slate.com has a whole Travoltified name. Like, I think mine is Troy Dorniels or something like that. Or Theo. It's Theo Dorniels. That's it. I was like, I like how my name became a guy's name, but you can just like put your name in there and they'll give you like a Travoltified name.
I think I'm gonna go with Leo also for literally the exact same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
then
just
I
more
would be
handsome.
Leo, and I would have
Yeah.
got to see Kate Winslet at her prime naked. So
I'm Leo DiCaprio. There's no way you can lose in this situation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking the man shits money and is famous like all
he
get
shits
out.
money.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta find
Did
another
you
good
answer that
one
one?
here. There's
I really didn't answer that one. I'm still, I don't know. Personally, I guess I go with Leo too because, you know, he's a really good actor. And Travolta, I mean, I do feel kind of bad for Travolta in a sense because everyone just jumped on that. We've fucked up names before. I mean, of course we have.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I'm like not making fun of the guy. I just
No.
think it's hilarious.
It is. It's hilarious.
Oh,
At the same time, it's like, oh.
whose name was it?
It was Idina Menzel that he
And he
said
butchered.
that.
Yeah. And it
Adela
was Adele
Dazeem?
Dazeem.
Yeah.
Adele Dazeem, I think that was what he called her.
Nailed it.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
It's not even. I figured it was like when I heard it happen. I was like, "Oh, was it someone from 12 Years a Slave?" Because they have like weird names sometimes.
Right.
You have
No.
weird names sometimes.
Fucking easy name.
No. Well, relatively easy. I mean,
yeah.
you know.
And the worst you can say is,
Chiwetel
Adina.
Ejiofor.
Yeah. Menzel.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Menzel.
That's kind of funny.
As we fucking look.
Some of these are just
Yeah.
like so simple. Like this one's like, would you rather eat an apple or eat a pear?
That's stupid.
Apples.
Why?
There's like
There's nothing to that. Like,
That's stupid.
it's not a decision anyone ever has to make.
I could make a decision.
Like I'm just gonna buy. I'm just gonna
know
buy
what?
both of them.
You look me in the eye and you tell me you don't think I can make an argument out of that. Let's be real.
You can make an argument out of it. I'm pretty
That's
confident.
You can do whatever you want.
That's
Okay, no, wait. This was
Okay.
a good one.
Okay.
Would you rather shrink to 1 inch or grow to 3 stories?
1 inch.
1 inch.
I gotta think on it. You guys run through your.
All right.
Convince me.
I say 1 inch because I think it would be. I mean, granted, the one concern or threat you have is being stomped on, but you also
Or being eaten by a spider.
or being eaten. That's a good point. But if you're 3 stories tall, nowhere can fit you. Like
Yeah.
ever, you could never like sit and go to a restaurant. You could never have a normal love life. I mean, granted, you can't either with being shrunk into an inch.
You
but
fall in love with an ant.
fall in love with an ant. Right, an ant.
Thorax.
Right. So I don't know. I still feel like you can get into small places too.
It's a pretty rough life, no matter how you
Well,
pick
True,
this one.
true.
And I mean, it really it comes down to are you going to stay that size or is it just temporary? Because if it's temporary, then I'll go 3 stories because that's fucking awesome.
True.
You just stomp on shit and people will be like, "Holy fuck!" And then you shrink back down. and You're like, "Well, I guess everybody would know your face at that point because
Yeah.
it's 3 stories tall."
Well, and not to mention that you probably would get shot at by
Yeah.
it'd be like King Kong.
Somebody,
I'm under
yeah.
the presumption that it's a permanent change, or at least that's how I would see it.
Okay. and in that case, I'd go 1 inch.
No, see, I would totally go. I think I would go 3 stories. I'm gonna be like a menace, like in my dying days. I just run around like breaking shit, and then when I go down, it's because the U.S. military brought me down.
Yeah.
you know?
Of course. Yeah.
It's not like I didn't
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
swinging.
oh man, I got stepped on. That's it for me. It's
No.
like no. It took an army to bring me down.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Plus, I'm gonna have fun being giant for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gotta be a good time.
Catch
it'd be
airplanes and just like
Yeah,
play
just-
with them like toys.
That'd be awesome. Well, 3 stories. I don't know if that's like catching airplanes.
I mean, it's not huge, but it's
Well,
pretty big.
That's like
pretty
small
big.
aircraft you could probably
Okay,
grab.
well, still.
But yeah. Also, does your strength
You
become
kick children
proportional,
around.
or is it the
wonder.
same? So like,
Ooh.
if I was 3 stories, could I pick up like a house, or could I just not do that, even
But-
though I was?
The problem is if you had the same, I guess, strength as you were when you weren't 3 stories tall, you would probably wouldn't be able to handle your own body in the
That's
way
fair.
that you've become
Yeah.
being 3 stories
It
tall.
would, like,
So
crush
you would
you.
just fall over.
That's fair.
So assume it's proportionate.
Yeah, I mean that's the best choice.
47% of the people went with shrinking to 1 inch. 53% grew to 3 stories.
Well, apparently, I
Get some
minority. I
I'm
guess.
killing it at this whole being a popular thing today.
I know, right? It's so funny.
You just want to fit in.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm just I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about this band that you're going to do a shout out.
Oh, the band I'm going to do a shout out, musical shout out to.
You don't actually have to do a shout out yet. They're like,
well, they're called the Gorlons, and they are a local band, and they're really good. Their genre is described as psychedelic garage rock. That's their official.
So get high in a basement.
Maybe.
That's what I'm
sure.
I mean, I'm down with it. You do what you want to do, man.
Right.
Let's call it what it is.
Well, that's the PG. That's the PG version
exactly.
of it. It's how do we market this? Yeah, no, it's they're a really good band, and I am really like this is the only local band I've ever been like total fangirl about, like ridiculously embarrassingly fangirl.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I love you guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and a friend of mine's actually in the band, and I don't know why I said yeah. That
fucking
was...
kill their fucking vibe.
But yeah, they're a good band. They consist of course, the lead. They have the rhythm guitar. They have they most recently acquired a new drummer, and they have what makes them unique, in my opinion, is the organ. They have organ like it reminds me of like '60s rock and roll, where they have that organ, and it's really cool. So. Yeah, they're
like Woodstock rock or shit like that.
Yeah. I dig them. And they've just released an album, so that's why I'm going to promote it, and I'll go more in detail about it in the musical show.
A brief thing while Andrew tried to find us a new question. What you got, buddy? Oh dear.
Would you rather fight 100 third graders one at a time, or fight 50 third graders at the same time?
100 third graders one at a time, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, no.
Because that many third graders at once will kick your ass.
They will.
You're going down no matter what happens.
No, you're not.
You can't take 100 in a row without.
Are you sure? Because I can throw a mean 100 left hooks.
Yeah,
and I got a lot of pack.
How many people have you punched in your life?
In my life?
Are you like familiar with like the actual pain that comes with punching a guy?
Like actual fight punching or like pretend punching?
Actual fight punching. 6. These third graders are coming at you hard, man. You've got to come hard back.
6, okay.
6, and I've hit Day lightly in the back of the neck. She was being obnoxious. Like 10.
I would hope this was not an actual fight punch.
No. It's literally just like stop that.
Quit it.
Just quit it.
Get out.
No, yeah, I feel like I could, and also. Presumably, they wouldn't be coming at you from every direction. They'd just be like lined up, and they'd just come at you and be like let's do this. And you just punch one, and then you kick the next one, and then you punch another one. And
you mix it up, backhand another one.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're confident you could pull that off 100 times.
I'm confident I could grab a third grader and break him over my leg. These are fucking like 8th graders or 8-year-olds we're talking about. They're fucking tiny, man. Like they're all of maybe this tall, and they are very weak.
I will say you've definitely got a better chance of winning that way.
Yeah, I agree. I would probably go with the 100 third graders one at a time because I have a cousin who's 7, so he's in 1st grade, almost 2nd grade. So he's not like too far off from that age range. But I just remember like running around with him, and he would get tired, and I'd go, thank God. And then all of a sudden he'd get this like wave of energy, and I'm like,
God,
it's like, why are you tired? Just relax, calm down. And so I think at least with 100, you can switch it up. You can headbutt. You could, you can probably throw one. I mean, they just say fight. They don't. They're not saying knock them out. You just can pick one up and just like.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna run at you. At least one of them's gonna run at you with like his arms out. So you just grab his wrist, toss him.
Or you can just step to the side and trip him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that doesn't say like whether or not you can just put your hand on their head and they swipe at you and then just
the only condition it says is no weapons and random genders. So some of them will be girls. For what it's worth. They won't have weapons, but neither do you.
I'll punch an 8-year-old girl just as hard as I'll punch an 8-year-old boy. I mean, I'm not here to discriminate.
I'm an equal opportunist fighter.
Exactly. I don't care.
Yeah, my instinct is to go the same way. I think you've got to do one at a time. The only downside to that is if you lose, then it ends up being like just one of them that basically beat you in the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's pretty undignified. That one 3rd grader gets to be like, I beat this guy. Whereas if the 50 of them take you out, it's like, well, there were 50 of them. What's a lot for me?
That's true. But my question is like, if you, hypothetically, I don't know the answer to this, but if that one 3rd grader beat you, would you have to like fight them again in order to go on?
I think it's just over. I think it's just over. I don't think you have to keep going until you win. I think you walk away from the playground shamed. That's as far as it goes.
Okay.
77% would rather fight 100 one at a time.
That's awesome. Okay.
You said that earlier. You said that you better have a better chance of winning if you do it that way. But really, you're fighting 3rd graders, so can you win?
Is there a winner when it comes to fighting third graders?
I don't think there is, but that's just a personal opinion.
It didn't say win, it said fight, so that
that's actually fair. Technically, one punch is a fight. So,
true. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can push them. That's a fight, too.
That's boom, done.
If I pushed someone in high school, I would have gotten suspended. So that's,
For fighting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a dumb reason, but, whatever. Fucking...
Yeah.
High school is... Did you know, and this is the only reason I know this, you said high school.
Yeah.
I found out my senior year that 3 punches is the legal restraint for defense. So
what?
you have to wait till they throw 3 punches, and then you can hit them back.
I did not know that.
Or at the very least, that's how it was in Kansas City.
Wow.
And the reason I know this is because during my senior year, one of the few days I was there was one person, or these 2 guys who were like getting into it near one of the bathrooms, and one guy just straight up pounced on the other one and took him to the ground, like mounted him, and he took his fist and he swung at him and he hit the floor. Or no, sorry, the first one hit him in the nose, and the guy like copied what he was doing. So when he brought down his second fist, the guy on the floor moved his head, and the guy punched the linoleum, and he winced, and then he brought his other hand back, and the guy moved again, and he hit his other hand, and he was like, ah, and then the guy just fucking headbutted him, and it was the most awesome thing I've ever seen.
That explains a lot, because in my junior year of high school, I remember, it was kind of a dumb story whenever I think about it. One girl got jumped by 8 other girls.
What the hell?
Yeah, well, she happened to be the new girlfriend of this guy, and the ex-girlfriend was one of the girls who had instigated her friends to jump the other girl.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was screwed up, but I remember the girl who got jumped got suspended for 10 days, and I was like, what the fuck? Why? Like, doesn't make...
Did any of the other girls get suspended?
Yes, the main offender, she got expelled. Some people got arrested, so I imagine, of course, the hammer fell really hard with them, but at the same time, it was like, why is the one who's defending herself?
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't make any sense. But now that kind of makes a little more sense. If she had a... your
immediate reaction is to fucking, like, get the fuck off and punch him.
I'm sorry, but if I had a kid, and the kid's getting picked on, I'm going to say, you do whatever you can to defend yourself.
Yeah.
If you get
grab
suspended...
a knife, Billy.
Yeah, do it. Fucking, listen, if there's going to be...
Here's a folding chair, go have at it, kid.
If they're willing to plan ahead and jump you with 8 of them, do what you gotta do.
Right,
like,
and if that means get suspended, it was either... My spleen getting busted, or...
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to take the suspension. I'm sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
You know,
So
I'll take the suspension with everybody going, it's just a formality.
Right. Yeah, so that's weird. I didn't know that, but that's kind of a new fact I learned.
Fun
So you have a new one.
I do have a new one. This one's a no-brainer, if you ask me. But I'm curious to see what your 2's take on it is. Would you rather win the lottery or live twice as long?
Lottery.
I would probably say lottery.
Yeah, it's a lottery. It's easy. It's totally easy.
Of course, they're always like the other little bits and pieces. Like, well, live twice as long, does that mean you age, or does that mean...
You age half as fast is the specification it gives you. So when you reach 100, you would be basically a 50-year-old.
Oh.
See, so actually, I might... See, now I'm torn because I thought about
me too.
it. And it wasn't even because of that. It's that I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm going to die when I'm fucking 50 anyway. Because I'm like a fat ass and heart disease runs in my family, and I have a fucking bum knee, and I'm just a walking death pit. So
You're
really,
optimistic.
if I could live to like what's essentially normal old age for like people who live a long time, like 100, or I could be rich and die early. And see, normally I would say rich and die early because then you can just blow all your money and do whatever the fuck you want. But then I would live to be a normal length of person, which would be nice because then I could collect all this fucking Social Security that I've been paying for fucking ever.
But you would be... Well, that's a good point. Assuming they believe you.
Assuming they believe me.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, wouldn't it suck though if it was like, nope, denied, and you were like, no!
God damn it!
You don't look like a 170-year-old man.
You don't look like a man. So
Botox.
Looks like we're both in a fucking pickle here.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I still go with lottery because living twice as long...
It's inconvenient.
Well, it is, and I mean...
You outlive everyone you love.
Yes, that too. And not to mention, it's like... I don't know. I guess win the lottery would be better because you can spread the wealth and benefit the people who are with you right now at the moment.
Yeah, then if you die early, you can give whatever's left over to your kids.
Yeah,
and your wife and your family,
or
whatever you leave
philanthropy
behind.
or whatever.
But see, assuming you have any left over.
True.
Like
if you blow it all, then you blow it all. That's
cool
too.
If I win the lottery, I imagine I'd be really, really done with it for about a week.
Yeah.
And then I'd catch on and I'd have probably half of it left.
Yeah.
And then I would probably start to do shit with it. But at that point, how big was the lottery? Because you can win the lottery and only get like $10,000.
Well, that is true, and not to mention it's like it depends. Yeah, I mean, bigger the better because I think you have to give at least half to taxes, right?
I anticipate when
I don't know half. Whatever. It's
fucking an outrageous amount.
Numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I anticipate when it says like win the lottery. I'm not thinking it's not like a local jackpot. It's like you won millions and millions of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Money to retire on is what I would call it.
But it also gets me thinking. It's like living twice as long. What I guess assuming I think we've assumed that people who live for a long time acquire all this money. Like that's kind of brushed up on I think in Twilight and I think other various like stupid films. But there's always this assumption that you live long, you have money, but that doesn't always mean anything.
You still got to work for that money though.
Yeah,
right.
That means you end up working twice as long, and no one likes
True.
working.
That's a good point too.
And this is a calculation that I've actually done a lot for like the past 2 years. Because I think about it and I'm like, man, I could live off of interest if I had enough money. So I just did it to refresh myself. If you win a lottery with $1 million and you put that in an account with a monthly interest of 1%, which isn't that hard to get. Like you have to have decent credit, but you can get a 1% interest rate. That comes out to $10,000 a month, just that you're earning an interest. I could live comfortably
on $10,000 a month.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, like, I'm comfortable with the lifestyle I have now.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point.
I could do this conceivably the rest of my life and be totally okay with that.
That is a very good point.
I'd like to live in a mansion too, but
Yeah, I don't need that.
I don't need to live in a mansion.
The way I look at it is the only extra expenditures I would have is like splurge money, which is going to account for ultimately maybe $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Because when I splurge, I splurge.
How much?
And then I can run the
how
heater
much
or air
splurging
conditioning.
do you need to do? Like,
when I splurge, man, I splurge.
well, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. How much higher does it need to go? Like splurging, like.
That's fair.
Are you like buying a sports car every 2 weeks? Like what kind of
Like for that
exactly?
shit,
Like
for that shit, I would save up.
yeah, who would splurge to that extent? Is what I'm saying. Like
you're like saying new video game every
yeah,
week,
like new video game, yeah,
or going out to eat a lot,
or I'm on Amazon and I see some of those.
Yes.
Like
basically impulse buying everything you want to impulse.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's
and really the biggest cost thing for that would be that fucking aliens or the alien sculpture they used to have at Eddie's. That was like $600.
Yeah.
I wanted the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
But it's neither here nor there.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
And to me, the thing is, I've never been like afraid of death or anything. Like I don't worry about dying like a lot of people do. I know.
Yeah.
So like I'm totally comfortable winning the lottery, getting rich, and dying at 60. Like I'm totally okay with that.
Whatever.
The only thing I don't like about that is hurting everyone else around me when I die.
Yeah.
If I die young, then all my friends and family are still
60's
alive.
not that young.
Well, yeah, not. But even like
Yeah.
if we're getting crazy, if I died at like 40 or whatever,
Well, yeah.
it's whatever. But I'm probably leaving some sad people in my wake,
Yeah.
and that sucks.
Yeah.
So, question: why aren't you afraid of dying? Like some people are. Like some people actually have a legitimate fear of dying. Which I don't either. So I'm not saying like in a weird way.
I don't
curious.
see what there is to be afraid of. I'm afraid of gruesomely dying. Like if I, die in like a slow, painful way that like really, really sucks.
Of course,
that's
yeah.
unfortunate, but it's not the death part that makes me not want that to happen. It's the slow, painful part.
Yeah, 'cause
death itself is simple and
It's final.
it's final. Like once I die, I don't have any feelings left to be afraid of. Like I don't see the point in fearing death because once I'm dead, there's nothing left to feel.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just it is what it is. And I personally am not religious, but if there is like a heaven or whatever, it's like the opposite of something to be afraid of. It's fuck yeah, afterlife. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It's probably a hell of a lot better than down here.
Yeah.
Let's check the numbers on that.
Yeah.
66% would rather win the
Of
lottery.
course. Yeah. Right. Might as well enjoy it. Like while you're
Get loaded.
I feel like
and then live a normal life. It's not like you age half as or double fast when you win the lottery.
Yeah, that's
it's like
true.
win the lottery but die at like 30 or whatever. Then I take a pause.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
It's like,
It's like, sweet, 6 years to spend $100 million.
I feel like in the same vein that it's not. I feel like with a lot of people, when it comes to death, it's not the death itself; it's the circumstances of it. Like Andrew said, it's like a gruesome death. Like, personally, I don't fear dying. I fear dying with no one there to be with me when I die.
Yeah.
So like dying lonely.
Yeah.
That shit horrifies me. Like I'll lay awake with insomnia and be like, I really don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I'll be there for you.
Andrew will.
Of course.
We'll like not talk for 30 years and I'll show up on my deathbed and be like, bro, how you living? And it's like, I'm not.
I'm in this bed, can't you see?
Funny thing about that, that's why I'm here.
Remember that time you told me you put me in your will?
Because I'm here to make up on that.
Yeah.
You're always worrying. What else you got for us?
Yeah.
Well, we got about 5 minutes left. I don't know if
We got
Tess
5
wants to
minutes.
wrap or if
Okay,
we want to
5
do another
minutes.
one real
Wow,
quick.
cool. All right. Well, then I will.
Oh,
talk.
this is a good one.
Okay.
Would you rather know when you will die or know how you will die?
Ooh. I don't want to know how. I would rather know when.
I think I'd like to know when, but I don't think I'd care to know how unless if this is like some magic fairy or whatever that's like asking me this question. I'm like, okay, I want to know when I die, and she's like next year. Then I'm like, wait, how?
Yeah.
But if it's like, when am I going to die? It's like, oh, when you're like 76. I'm like, okay, I just assume old age or some terminal illness or whatever. It's whatever.
Right.
It's way beyond this.
Right.
It's when I'm supposed to die.
I don't know.
But if the magic fairy tells me it's next year, then I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
This is uncomfortable.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would still rather know when rather than how, because I think with how it's like, I could just see it being like one of those weird sci-fi, like you find out how how you're going to die, and then you're constantly in fear of that thing. So if it's like you were stabbed or shot, or you're in a car wreck, and like the irony is like, let's say it's a car wreck, and you stop driving because you think, oh, car wreck, and then you're walking down the street and you get hit by a car. It's that kind of like ironic thing that I think it would happen. When would be different, because the only reason why is I know my mom knew a woman who. Her husband knew he was dying, and he had cancer, I believe. And so what happened was he planned everything. Like he planned his funeral, he planned everything. Like he got his will taken care of.
Planning your own funeral must be really surreal.
I bet it was. I bet. And so So
I want this coffin.
Yeah. So like when he died, everything was in place, and she didn't have to do anything. And so I think for that reason, I kind of would like to do that, because that way I also would know. Like what would I want to do?
You can plan ahead when the time's getting close.
And I can say to my family, it's like, you're getting this, you're not getting this, or whatever. So it's, I don't know. For me, I would like to know when.
Though, I guess if you ask how, you can also, again, get an answer that incites curiosity. Because it's
True.
like, if you ask, how do I die? And they're like, old age, nothing to worry about. But if it's like, how do I die? And they're like, oh yeah, someone shoots you. Then, it's like you're talking about where you start living in fear. It's like, does that guy have a gun?
Right. Or if you go to how you will die, and someone says like hoverboard accident, you can know it's in the future, and obviously you're going to be older. So.
Sweet! Hey! Hoverboards!
But then the next day you're like, they announce hoverboards. Like they fucking pretend to do it.
Damn it!
I would definitely choose how, because like you said, it would be that thing where, you would start to fear everything. Mm-hmm. But I'm the type of person who I freak the fuck out about something for about a day. Yeah. And then after that, I'm like, it's gonna fucking happen. Whatever.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Well, it's true. If it's like written in the stars, like don't make a fuss about it.
Perfect example.
Especially us, because I guess none of us are like afraid of death. So it's if it's gonna happen, let it happen.
Well,
whatever.
And the perfect example is when I got my DUI. The cop pulled me over, and I fucking knew I smelled like beer. I could smell myself. So I was like,
oh god,
fuck. And so he comes over and he does the whole thing. He's like, have you been drinking tonight? And I was like, I had a beer. And he's like, okay, you step out of the car. And it was literally as I was walking to the sidewalk so he could give me the sobriety test that it just shut off. And I was like, it's done. Like, I'm gonna, like, if it happens, it happens. I can't just run away from the cop because I'm drunk and he's faster. So,
I'm drunk and he's faster.
Just fucking, well, I may have been drunk. Technically, it's not done yet.
Yeah.
So at that point, I feel like I want to know so that I could get it all out of the way, and then when it finally did come, I would be like, "Oh, this is how it ends. All right, let's do this.
Okay,
whatever." Because then you'd still have time
death like an old friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. For the record, 45% would want to know when. 55 want to know how.
It's pretty close.
Yeah,
it's pretty close.
A lot of these pretty split down the middle.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see. This is a good website. So this is yourather.com.
Yourather.com.
Yourather.com. Okay.
There's a website plug for you.
Yeah, website plug.
We just gave them some much needed publicity.
Tess some money.
Yeah, yeah. So I will talk a little bit more about my musical shout out. The Gorlons, they on Valentine's Day, which was my birthday, they released their debut album, which is also titled The Gorlons. I believe it has 10 tracks. You can listen to all the tracks on Bandcamp, and I think also YouTube. But yeah, you can go to gorlons.bandcamp.com and listen to their music for free. And
How do you spell that?
Gorlons.
S is
bandcamp.com.
It's the Gorlons, but yeah.
Oh, the Gorlons, whatever.
My bad.
God.
The Gorlons.
Get the fucking article in there.
It's good to get this out there. And
yes. Their album is free for download right now. If you want to kick it old school, you can buy a cassette. I know. I thought that was kind of cool. You can get a cassette.
I have a cassette player in my car.
The year's 2014, so I would rather not do that. So, and also I destroy things. I'm really good.
Very easily.
I can't be trusted with CDs and cassettes. They always end up broken. So I'm like, digital. Digital's great.
It's fantastic. I have one thing to break, not 12.
Yes, and they also have a show coming up. Oh, I believe it is the Outland Ballroom. It's it's the Outland. And they're very similar. They're at the Outland, and they'll be playing with a band called Buffalo Killers. Yeah, they like to bring a lot of bands from out of town, and what they'll do is they'll bring them, and that band will be the headliner. Buffalo Killers, yes, the Gorlons on March 12th.
And the Justice Adams Band.
Yes, Justice Adams Band. They are a local band as well. So they'll be doing a show on March 12th, and I believe Buffalo Killers. I want to say they're from Nashville. I cannot say that for certain.
Ohio.
So close.
Nashville, Ohio.
So close, yeah. But they do like to bring a lot of bands from out of town into Springfield, and they make them the headliner, and so they charge money, but it's like it goes to the headliner, which is really cool. I think it's cool that they do that.
And it's probably only like $10-15 or something like that.
It's usually like 5-10. I mean, 10 is the most usually. I mean, if it's any more than that, it usually doesn't happen. But they're a really good band, and I think I wouldn't be backing them if I didn't think they were worth listening to. So if you're listening to this and you need to listen to some psychedelic garage rock, I recommend downloading the Gorlons' debut album, The Gorlons. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
I like it. That sounds good.
All right, so that is the end of the newest episode of Nighttime
The
with
gritty
Tess Devine.
reboot that doesn't acknowledge the previous
The
installments.
reboot. We're leaving it in the dust, you know.
There you go.
So yes, I'm going to thank Jake and Andrew for being my producers, and yourather.com and the Gorlons. So thank you very much. Stay tuned next week for the next episode, episode 2 of the reboot.
Yeah, there you go.